Deacon Elijah Brown was the kind of man whose faith didn't just live in the pages of Scripture. It walked beside him in every act of kindness. At New Hope Tabernacle, nestled on the east side of Indianapolis, he was more than a deacon. He was a mentor, a handyman, a shoulder to cry on, and a tireless volunteer at the Second Wind program, a local initiative that gave ex-offenders a shot at redemption. That's where he met Chris. Chris was 23, fresh out of a 2-year sentence for petty theft, and trying hard to outrun the shadow of his past. He had a quiet humility about him, the kind that made people lean in rather than pull away. Deacon Brown saw something in him, a flicker of goodness, maybe even greatness. So he offered Chris a job doing maintenance around the church, fixing pews, painting walls, organizing the food pantry. Soon, Chris became a fixture at New Hope. The kids adored him. The elders praised his work ethic. Even Pastor Langston said he was a walking testimony. But then things started disappearing. First, it was small. Cleaning supplies, a few dollars from the bake sale jar. Then a sound system went missing. Suspicion crept in like fog when a $2,000 donation meant for the youth retreat vanished from the locked finance cabinet. The whispers turned into accusations. Pastor Langston, under pressure and lacking proof, let Chris go. Deacon Brown was devastated. He didn't believe Chris had done it, but the tide had turned too fast. Chris left quietly, his eyes heavy with disappointment, his voice barely above a whisper. I thought I was finally home. Weeks passed. Then one Sunday afternoon, as Deacon Brown stayed late to help clean up after service, he noticed something strange. The pastor's office door, normally locked, was ajar. He approached cautiously and saw Yvette, Pastor Langston's niece, slipping out with something clutched in her hand. Yvette was the kind of girl who never raised suspicion. She sang softly in the choir, helped with Sunday school, and rarely spoke unless spoken to. But in that moment her face was pale, her eyes wide, and in her hand was the pastor's wife's purse. Yvette, Deacon Brown said gently, what are you doing in there? She froze, then crumbled. Tears spilled as she confessed. She'd been quietly taking money for months, out of desperation. She immediately said, I think I need help, through tears. The truth hit the congregation like thunder. Pastor Langston apologized publicly to Chris, who returned not with bitterness but grace. I know what it's like to be judged by your past, he said, but I also know what it's like to be forgiven. Yvette was admitted into a rehabilitation facility that Deacon Brown had ties with to receive counseling, not condemnation. Deacon kept doing what he always did, believing in people.